Are you thinking about buying or selling a home or are a real estate professional and want to keep up with the Twin Cities market news, stats, and trends? Then come hang out with us for a little while. Hi, I'm Kirk Duckwall, and welcome to the Twin Cities Real Estate Show. Like to welcome back with a new last name, Libby Mejia. Thank you. It was always fun having you in.
Well, I'm happy to be back.
I mean, it took us almost like 45 minutes to get the show started because we were having so much fun.
Absolutely.
Yes.
That's what it's all about.
Yes. And then Chad Priebe, as always. Thanks
Good
for coming
seeing
in.
you guys. Yeah.
Mr. Numbers himself.
Absolutely.
Yep. All right. So today we're going to be diving into, I think, what is a really important topic for the times that we're in. I mean, we're seeing changes in our marketplace that we haven't seen for years, right? Interest rates approaching. I mean, we've been here before. We've, a few times in the last couple decades, but, people don't easily remember back to 10 years ago, 17 years ago, right?
Right.
When we're coming out of interest rates that were in the high twos only a couple years ago.
Well,
Right.
we have a significant number of, millennial population that has never seen anything but what we just left. So.
Yes.
Right. Good point.
So diving in deep to home buying goals. How do you get into home ownership in a market like we're in? Because I think it's one of the best opportunities we've seen in a long time for buyers.
I would agree.
If you can get yourself thinking beyond where the rate is today,
Right.
and putting yourself in a plan and creating those goals.
Keyword plan.
Plan.
Correct.
Yes.
Yep.
Yep. And I think, I was making notes. We should swing back around to that refinance plan
Correct.
in the next segment. But before we dive into that, I want to talk about where is our market today?
Yeah.
Right? So a lot of movement in rates. We got close to 7%, was about 2 weeks ago now?
Yep. But roughly.
Yeah, and then dropped back off, got down. I think it was about 6.5.
6.5, 6.375 for a short period of time. Mm-hmm. And now we're back just a little over 7.
Yep.
So.
And with that, we are seeing changes in just activity levels out there across the board.
Okay.
What I will say is some trends, it's really kind of funny that some trends on an annual basis, although the spread is different, the up and down trend is no different. So if we look at like new listings into the marketplace, we're coming from 1,295 down to 1,271. Not a big change,
a big move.
Just a little bit of drop off. But if we look at last year, it was at 1,596 down to 1,588. Also not a big move. And these trends, they just kind of follow each other year over year a lot of time. Now, one that didn't really follow was looking at pending sales. Yeah. And I think this is a absolutely clear reflection of the rate movement we've seen.
Right.
Because some of these data points that we're going over, these actions took place a few weeks ago. So when we're looking at pending sales, by the time it actually goes pending, that's going a few weeks back when we really started watching rates make that big movement.
Okay. So this is more just what you talked about just a second ago was more of your it happens every year. It's your seasonal market.
Yeah,
changes.
like listings, people weren't like, I'm holding off my listing because of interest rates.
Yeah.
Right. They're just putting things on. But
Right.
I think buyers are being very conscious of that out there.
For
Right.
sure. And they're watching as sellers are beginning to reduce prices. We're seeing more price reductions in the market. The pending sales, dropping off could be also a result of buyers having an inspection, having an opportunity to have an inspection and canceling during inspection.
Well, we just saw the lowest
Good
rate
point.
of waived inspections in a long time. Now, you're always going to have a certain amount of waived inspections. Usually like with condos or heavily association maintained townhomes, new construction.
Right.
You may see that, but down to 23% of offers made now waiving inspection. Keep in mind, That was up, I think, close to 50%.
I believe right around, maybe even just a hint over 50% at the height of the spring market, when there were multiple offers on virtually every listing, practically creating the market.
If you wanted an inspection, you weren't getting your offer accepted.
Exactly.
In most cases.
It's a more favorable climate for a buyer in a lot of those regards,
Right.
because
Absolutely.
you're able to have time to digest your decision, to process it, to examine the home thoroughly and properly, to proceed, if in a fair way for a buyer.
Well, and we're seeing home prices. And I think it's had a client that we were working with, came from the home buyer class, that gets into a property that I think was priced at $249, and we're able to get a full inspection period in there. Appraisal comes back at $290, right?
That's a win.
That's a win,
sure.
right?
Absolutely.
So able to do their due diligence and get the house at an affordable price. So when we talk next segment, these are some of the benefits of, maybe the rate's a little bit higher. What's your plan?
Right.
Coming in and getting a home for $40,000 under appraised value. Because
That's
I mean,
great to
you
hear.
know, obviously being in the lending business, appraisers don't normally like to go out on a limb and be like, oh, I'm going to appraise this for 40 G's over. They'll
Right.
appraise it for 500 over the offer price.
Right, or they'll come in right at the offer price.
Yeah.
No, that's good. I like hearing these stories because it is more, interest rates are interest rates, guys. We can't control that. But if you have a chance to control your decision more and have more time to make a decision, you're going to be better off for you and your family, right? It's not that split second decision anymore, and that is a very, very important thing.
Yeah. I think it does give yourself that breathing room coming into the market.
Right.
Now, one of the things that I think is absolutely keeping our market afloat is the historically still low inventory, right? If we had 2,000-3,000 more listings in our marketplace right now, it'd be pretty dismal.
Yeah.
But we don't. We actually have inventory dropping below last year's numbers, right? And last year we hit the historic lows. So for the time of year we're at right now, we're at an all-time low for this time.
Right.
So, that is, although the month supply is going up because buyers aren't acting as fast, that as that comes down, I think we're going to see that shorten up. And that will keep prices still from, because all these people, I'm waiting for a bubble. There's no, there isn't anything there.
not, yeah.
Yes, there's some room to negotiate now where there wasn't before, but we've gone from an extreme seller's market into a more normal paced market.
Absolutely.
Now,
Yes.
now I will say, the rates in comparison to the prices, this is something we haven't seen, and we'll see how this plays out.
Right.
But I think we've discussed that, these sevens are not long term. One last data point I really want to hit on here is the market meter. Really just says how normal we are. So we're at a 4.44 on the market meter, which is basically real close to in the middle of balanced market range. Balanced, right? Not benefiting buyers significantly, not benefiting sellers significantly, right? So it is still a stable market out there. When we come back, we're going to dive in to that home buying plan. If you have any real estate questions for us, you can give us a call, 651-303-0019. Also, download our free publications, the Smart Home Buyer Guide, Smart Seller Guide, the BRIX Report, all at TwinCitiesRealEstateShow.com. We'll be right back. Our local sponsors are BRIX Real Estate, Network Title, Eric Bloomstrad and Chad Priebe with Bell Bank Mortgage, Structure Tech Home Inspections, James Tufson with Country Financial, along with Cregan's Construction and Grey Duck Staging and Design.
Hi, I'm Ruben with Structure Tech Home Inspections. Everyone knows you should have a home inspection before you buy a home, but we've heard of home buyers being encouraged to skip the home inspection in this crazy market to make their purchase offer more attractive. Now they're facing tens of thousands of dollars in unexpected repairs. I'm telling you now, don't skip the home inspection. Here at Structure Tech, we can get your home inspected quickly, and we offer a full line of services. Visit us online at structuretech.com to learn more.
Don't fall for the billboards or the clickbait. There is no such thing as today's rate. Mortgages and mortgage rates are individual to you. Chad Priebe and Eric Bloomstrand with Bell Bank Mortgage are here to show you the formula to get your best rate. Once you know this formula, you can mortgage shop with confidence. Find us online at chadpriebe.com. That is chadpriebe.com. NMLS 1462493, Equal Housing Lender, member FDIC.
Hi, I'm Kirk Duckwall with BRIX Real Estate and the Twin Cities Real Estate Show. Buying or selling a home is one of the biggest financial transactions people make. Before you make your next move, download our free Smart Home Buyer or Smart Seller guides to give you the edge in our real estate market. From deal hunting to knowing the right repairs for maximizing value, these free guides have it all. Check them out and more at BRIXTwinCities.com under publications. Welcome back to the Twin Cities Real Estate Show. Yes, waiting there for my stomach to stop rumbling. Mm-hmm.
You're hungry.
Yeah. Thanks for making the beef sticks suggestion. Now I'm more hungry.
I know how you like your beef steaks.
It's like a staple lunch for me.
I know.
Today, diving in to the home buying plan. Right, to think about this, right? And so many people jump into this process, and I know we cover this in the homebuyer classes, but it's really taking a step back from looking at your phone and being like, oh, hey, look at this. These are nice. Let's go look at this, book a showing, right? If that's happening, you haven't started at the right point. It's okay to go, hey, I'm excited, but as soon as you go, hey, I'm excited, okay, we need to start thinking about things and start putting together a plan, a timeline, all of that.
Right.
When's your lease up, right? How long until that lease is up? Or if you own a home, when are you going to sell that house? How long do you need to prepare to sell that house?
And how do we need to strategize? Is your purchase going to happen first, and then you can move and vacate and sell comfortably with staging in the spring when we're hitting the higher point in the market? What does it look like for you, and what does that focus begin? Where do you begin?
Right.
And if you want to dive deep on the seller side of this, or the buy sell, we did a show a little while back on that. But at the TwinCitiesRealEstateShow.com, you can download the Smart Sellers Guide, and it kind of gives those thinking points. Most of what we're going to talk about today is going to be from the rental side of it. But keep in mind, this plan is the things you want to think about no matter what. No matter what your buy sell or buy rent situation, buy sell situation is. So how long does it take you to find a home that you want to move into? What's the average? Well, the typical home shopper, it's about 30 to 60 days. And then from there, it's another 30 to 60 days to closing. So you could be talking upwards of 4 months, right?
Right.
So if your lease is coming to an end in a month, you need to go month to month.
Yep.
Right.
Okay. What I didn't say is you need to re-sign your lease, because what you're doing is you're setting yourself up for the lease roulette, which you don't want to do, right?
No.
Because
It's 100% interest on that.
yeah, lease roulette's
Right.
tough because you're putting yourself into a market just during such a short period of time. And it's probably worth paying a little extra month to month to give yourself time to find that right buy and find something. I just had a client. It was actually a buy-sell, right? And I said, hey, why don't you find something that could just be short-term for you? And that was a huge stressor. And I said, you know what? If you do your move with a pods or a rent-a-box, it doesn't need to be the big stressor.
Yeah.
So he finds a place, very temporary. Within a week of finding something that could be temporary, he found the perfect place.
Nice.
Versus trying a week earlier to force places that he hated,
Yeah.
right? And it was a big, mental leap to get to that. Hey, let's just go month to month. Let's have that short term so you can find what you really want.
And that's called the surgical approach.
Yes.
Right.
So, don't be in a rush, as we say in the book.
For sure.
Right.
Take all the pressure off.
So then for your first time buyer, if you're willing to rent it, be willing to buy it. And this is another very big leap for people, right? Because it's like, hey, I'm in this 1-bedroom or 2-bedroom, 700 square foot apartment or duplex, whatever it may be, 1 bathroom. I want the 3-bed, 2-bath, 2-car garage, whatever, as my next place, or, if maybe it's like, oh, I want that great school district for my next place. And the question is that what you need right now and for the next 3 to 5 years? Sometimes I'll have couples, they don't even have kids yet, and they're looking at school district. And it's like, this is not what you need to worry about now. You need to worry about just getting something so you're not paying rent, because, like we said before, rent is 100% interest.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, start building your own equity if you're in that position to do that. Don't let interest rates scare you away. Obviously, that is a factor on your monthly payment. But like Kirk and Libby had mentioned, if you have a plan in place, and I think what you're trying to say too, Kirk, is don't go out and just start flipping through your phone looking at houses before you talk to your team. Yep. And your team would be your realtor and your loan officer, and really start putting that plan together. Because we don't want you out looking at 30 different houses while the right houses are selling, and you're not even looking at those.
That's a huge stressor.
Yeah.
Right. Because once you have the plan, I was out with actually a couple who are now in the downsize. Right. They've been in their house for 45 years or something like that. Right.
Yep.
And they're in the downsize right now. We're approaching this the same way. Those same conversations about home buyer priority checklist, doing exploratory showings, coming up with that plan, right? So, even experienced home buyers, this is the thing to be doing. But, especially for those first-time buyers, as I've mentioned before, our board operator, Carly, she absolutely hacked home buying to the best, starting out with their first place, what was, worked for them for that period of time. They were there a year, I think. Yep. And then was able to move up, get that little bit bigger place, was there for, that was like 3 years or 4 years. 4 years. Yep. And then into their last, but the whole time building equity and rolling money
steps
in. I think you were able to ultimately roll something like 60,000-80,000, right? Yeah.
Nice.
So,
well done.
That built in, and you grew into it. And one of the analogies I like to give is it's like, when you bought your first car, you didn't try to go buy your forever car.
Right.
I need something that's going to hold the RV when I'm older. I need the car seats in back to go to a baseball game. Right? No, you bought whatever got you there.
Because you need a car.
You need a car.
You need a place to live.
But what you didn't do when you bought that first car is you didn't get upset you didn't buy your forever car and ran over to Enterprise and started renting.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, and that's at the end of the day, you have to pay something every month to somebody to live somewhere.
Right.
And so interest rates, I know it can be a little bit of a gut punch right now to buyers that are just entering the market maybe for the first time.
I paid a 9% on one of my first.
My dad was an appraiser for 45 years. He saw rates at 18, 19%. And when I tell that to millennials, the younger generation that's just, starting to enter the buying market, their jaws drop.
Right.
And it's like, that's massive. But, 6%, 7%, although it's not, what we just saw a year ago, and that was unique and historic in its own right. And that's highly unusual. Like you have to acclimate and adjust and pivot. And the point of home ownership is to have this hedge against inflation for future, years to come and keep building that equity.
And it truly is.
Correct.
That's one of the things I say I love about my job is my job's inflation proof. Because
Absolutely.
home values go up, commissions, checks get bigger, right?
And
that's the hard reality of it.
And the basics are it's supply and demand. Mm-hmm. And we have a massive millennial population, larger than the baby boomer population.
Right.
And the Gen Z generation right behind them is even larger than the millennial population, just based on sheer numbers. Yep. Supply and demand. And everybody needs somewhere to live.
Right.
Yeah.
And if I look at as a huge positive for my career being an inflation-proof career, think about that in the home ownership aspect, right? You really are getting something that you're locking in at wherever those are that day, and then as
Well,
time goes on.
and you make your plan. You
Yep.
know that rates are a little on the higher end than what we've seen recently in recent years anyway. And you say, okay, when what's a great number for a buyer to plan to contact their lender and do a refinance.
Correct.
Is
Yep.
that if it drops 1% from where they're currently standing, is that a good time? Or if things look like they're trending downward in a nice direction?
Yeah, it's a good question, and everybody's different, right? So kind of my rule of thumb is we got to find a benefit to refinance, because it does cost money to refinance. But the benefit is your interest rate goes down by 1%. You're saving $100 a month, if not more. Maybe you need to do some cash out at that point to do some home improvements that you've been waiting to do while the interest rate's correct. So, yeah, good question, and everybody's different. It may not have to go down a full percent because of your loan amount. Larger loan amounts, it doesn't take that much of a rate drop to show you a benefit, whether it's monthly savings or interest savings, whatever it is. We can actually look at going to a 20-year term or a 15-year term. If you're comfortable paying 7% interest on your 30, maybe let's look at a 15 when rates go down. Maybe you can have similar payments on a 15-year term.
Nice.
So you save yourself 15 years of interest. And you want to talk about building equity. A very common question or a very common conversation I'm having now is the plan. And the big plan is you're not buying your forever home as a first-time home buyer, but what you're doing is you're buying equity for your future, right? I look at buying real estate as
you make your money on the buy. That's
you
what
make
they
your
say.
money on the buy, and when you retire at some point in your life, if you do it right and keep rolling that equity over, you're going to retire on a really good nest egg of money, right? And that's really the plan. That's the ultimate goal.
So when we come back in our last segment, we're going to dive into the homebuyer priority checklist. We only have a few minutes to cover that, but that's how you find the home you really, really, really want. It's the blood and guts of that plan. But it's figuring out these first things to decide to get into the market, figure out your finances, and just give yourself the time. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back.
Not every title company is the same. There are many people involved with each real estate transaction, and all of them need to be in the loop or a closing may get delayed. This is why the people at Network Title strive to provide swift scheduling and communication between the buyers, sellers, agents, and lenders. We know moving can be stressful, however, your closing does not need to be. Check us out online at network-title.com.
My name is James Tobson with Country Financial. Anyone can sell you insurance. However, is it going to be the insurance you need? When life pops up with its surprises, you want the right coverage. When it comes time to find or renew your policy, give me a call. I would love to review your existing policy and show you what I can do for you. You can email me at james.tobson@countryfinancial.com or give me a call at 651-365-3408.
Hi, I'm Becca, owner of Grey Duck Staging. With today's home buyers beginning their journey exclusively online, the look and feel of your home matters more than ever. Whether it's a simple in-home consultation, a refresh using your current furniture, or a whole home staging, our goal is always the same: showing your home in the best light and helping you achieve the highest sales price possible. To learn more, visit us at greyduckstaging.com or check us out on Instagram at greyduckstaging.
Welcome back to the Twin Cities Real Estate Show. If you have any real estate questions or needs, please feel free to reach out. 651-303-0019 or at TwinCitiesRealEstateShow.com. Any questions you can submit there, or show ideas, you can submit those there as well. All right, I want to dive into the last thing here in the plan, which is the home buyer priority checklist. This is probably the most important thing anybody can do when they're starting off, no matter if it's your first home, your second home, or your fifth home. You want to do this because this will help you find the home you really, really, really want. It gets you past all the fog, all the stuff that you're going to hate, right? So what is it? Price, size, condition, location, neighborhood. Now, size can also be layout. Condition could also be features, right? Like I want a big kitchen or something like that, nice updated kitchen. some people will ask me, well, what's the difference between location and neighborhood? Location would be, you know what, I want to be on the north end of town. Neighborhood would be, I want to be next to a park. I want a big lot. I want to be, wooded lot or something that it's a little more close in dynamics to that.
Okay.
And then you rate these 1 through 5. What's the most important to you and the least important to you? And you can only use each number once. All right? You can't say they're all important to me, right? Because the thing is if you do that, you're tying yourself in to like not willing to make compromise, right? And we know in home buying, compromise has to be made. The question is, if you do this, you'll figure out exactly where it's okay to make that compromise.
For sure, absolutely. We talk to buyers all the time that, I will meet with a buyer for the first time, a first-time home buyer, and they start talking about how they, want a fenced-in backyard, and I have to, help them clear that away and understand that virtually any house can get a fenced-in backyard,
Right.
And that's, getting past that fog.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, and a lot of people, if they rush, they make that sacrifice in an area they didn't want to, right? Because they didn't take the time to really think about that. We have this list and how to think about it and, kind of how you want to, walk yourself through the mental game of it. And one of the ways you test yourself is, let's say, on price, I don't want to go any higher than $300,000. Well, ask yourself, if it was the perfect house in the perfect location in the perfect condition, would you go to $310,000? And if your answer is yes, then price may not be as important as you thought. Right? All right, you can find that at TwinCitiesRealEstateShow.com. Thank you again, Libby, for coming in. Chad.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for
check
having
out
me.
those guides. We'll be back next week. People always ask realtors, what is your commission? But what they should be asking is, what is your rate of return? Commissions only vary by a couple of % from agent to agent. However, the price per square foot you get just based on their experience and the quality of marketing they use can vary by 10% or more. At BRIX Real Estate, our agents use the right marketing and have the experience to get you top dollar for your house. See what we can do for you at BRIXTwinCities.com.
Not every title company is the same. There are many people involved with each real estate transaction, and all of them need to be in the loop or a closing may get delayed. This is why the people at Network Title strive to provide swift scheduling and communication between the buyers, sellers, agents, and lenders. We know moving can be stressful, however, your closing does not need to be. Check us out online at network-title.com.
Don't forget to check us out online anytime at TwinCitiesRealEstateShow.com. There you can find all of our past shows, our weekly market updates, along with the latest and greatest searching and researching tools, and our free publications to include the Smart Home Buyer Guide and the Smart Seller Guide, along with the BRIX Report. All of these free for you. If you have any real estate questions, please feel free to give us a call, 651-303-0019. Again, 651-303-0019. Happy to help answer any of your real estate questions or assist with your real estate needs.